up and good morning, guys? Welcome back to another video. So we got a couple things going on in today's video. Number one, I'm on my daily commute, which you guys can see is on a dirt road. And you'll see why that's important later on in this video, but you can see this dirt road it's a little rough and a little bit bouncy. And kind of one of the reasons I wanted to buy the Bronco is because I wanted something that, you know, could handle and fly down the dirt road pretty easily. And while it's not bad stock, it could be a lot better, and we've got some big plans to improve that. Now, y'all may harken back to remember when we released the rendering of what we're gonna be doing to the Bronco. And well, parts have started to show up, and we actually have the suspension for this thing that I'm gonna show you guys later in this video. But there's a major issue that is driving me absolutely insane. And again, we'll get to that later in this video. As always, we must work before we play. We're going to meet up with Dave right now. We're gonna help him out a little bit on an art project, but you guys have to see this next building and next restaurant that's getting lined up here and the work that was done in it. It is probably the absolute worst construction I have ever seen in my life. Make sure you guys stay tuned for this. We'll be at that building in 3, 2, 1. Dave? Oh, well, it is a bad neighborhood. I'd lock the doors too. That's Rhino. 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 Come on out, man. Come on out.
How you doing?
I'm good, man.
Good, Doc.
I don't like, I get it. You don't want to talk to the police?
Well, I just, you know, I hear you're dangerous.
Okay, guys. Well, if you guys remember the first restaurant we built, kind of didn't really film it on the YouTube channel. Second restaurant we just recently filmed, and that thing's about to open soon. Well, this is building number 3 and gonna be restaurant number 3 for the same group. However, this is a monstrosity inside, and wait till you guys see. But don't worry, Dave's here.
Yeah, Rhino told me that girls are into real prickly things.
Good to see you too, Dave. All right, coming in, Dave, coming in.
Oh, hey guys.
Hey.
Come on in.
Dave, give us a tour of this building, and then we'll talk about the snake in a minute.
All right. Well, so, you know, I just like making the things based on my van. I don't have real good business savvy, but my good buddy started leasing this space so that we can build a restaurant in it in the future. The owner of the building, not my good buddy, kind of got a little caught up in a code enforcement issue.
Well, just one code enforcement issue, Dave?
Well, so my understanding of the situation here is that they started doing a remodel, code enforcement got involved. Just for example, one of their ideas was, hey, you see this perfectly good truss that amazingly, you know, gives us 40 feet of clear span here? We should put a column right in the middle of the space.
Well, yeah, you gotta hold up this 19th century technology that's worked for 100 years.
It's 1920s, which is 100 years old. Now, nobody asked them to do this. This isn't a part of what they need to do to resolve their code enforcement thing. Now, you're saying to yourself, well, hey man, this hole looks nice. Looks nice and tight. Well, so they cut this first hole here, you know, to put the foundation for a column, you know. Nobody's asking them to do this. And man, it's right over the sewer where they cut it. So then they're like, well, let's just do it right here then. Now what's odd is neither of them are really in the center. I'm here to build a sculpture for the other restaurant, but I needed a place to do it. So I cleaned this place up pretty good and patched the hole that's right in the middle of everything, because we don't want a column here, man. Like, nobody wants a column in the middle of the place.
So basically, the owners of the building pre-leasing it out had some crazy, weird ideas, that none of which are really good ideas. And then on top of that, they hired the absolute cheapest guys they could find to do everything by the looks of what it is. I don't know what they paid, but let's just take this drywall work, for example. Now, I'm no drywall expert, but I also know that I probably shouldn't try to do things I'm not an expert in. But look at the drywall mudding and texturing here. And you know, this is not just one example where they came in and kind of walked away. It is literally every bit of drywall.
I've been here for a few days. I don't know.
What a little plug of drywall is up there.
Yeah, that's
I don't know. But some things that I really love is this detailing right here.
Yeah, you guys can't really.
Man, I'm not like I feel horrible. Like, why would I judge somebody for trying to make music? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? But this is pretty, in my like humbled opinion, this is some pretty funny shit all over the place in here.
I mean, I'm gonna keep going. Let's keep going. I mean,
We'll talk about how the drywall terminates right there around like the top of the trusses. Like, nothing's tight. I mean, and clearly they weren't
afraid to spread some mud. You could have like filled in some of these holes with just mud at this point.
I mean, every little thing, nothing's, I mean, looks like they might have, I don't even know if they tried to sand this. They just coated the entire sheets of drywall everywhere. I don't understand the exposed electrical. Apparently the water heater cannot be right here. So let's put the water heater right there. It's got brand new air conditioning, right?
Yeah, that doesn't work.
Brand new air conditioning up in this place. They've dug a bunch of plumbing trenches and then filled them in with concrete. My favorite here is they totally concreted over their cleanouts. Like, you know, I'm not saying you can't ship that to get that opened up, but this concrete work is also beautiful. Must have had grand plans here for plumbing, because you can see all kinds of, you know, plumbing drawings on the ground here, like they were gonna saw cut open and ship out, or we don't really know. There was gonna be a hand sink right here, but look at this drywall work right here. I mean, I think they filled in like 2 to 3 inches with just mud, as you can see by how she flexes. Got a weird little room up here. That's, you know, that's where all the HVAC is. That, again, doesn't work. We've got 2 sweet bathrooms. Hey, look at that. The motion sensor works though, with some, I mean, they're gonna need a new concrete guy. I think that's safe to say here. And drywall guy, well, and door casing guy. And speaking of door casing, check out the super sweet front door here. This is an exciting one. Clearly somebody came in and put these double doors in. And, hold on. Interior grade, David, what would we say on these doors? And then check this out. So, no, you know, you need a threshold usually at the bottom of your door here, and it's usually a metal piece. Let's go see if the other door over here has one. And what that does is it keeps kind of the water from rolling up into your space here. I don't know, this one has nothing. So for whatever reason, check out their threshold here. You guys will get a good kick out of this one. So for their threshold, you'll notice there is some routed out points there for hinges, because they basically used another piece of door jamb like this, where you can see it was routed out for the hinges, as their threshold for some odd reason. And to nobody's surprise here, like none of the doors really close well. So basically there's 2 units, but this is all gonna turn into one. So this is the second unit. This is where things get kind of cool. Also, again, no surprise to anybody, none of the doors really work here. So check this side out. This side's obviously smaller, so this whole wall is gonna get opened up. There's all kinds of engineering and stuff that needs to get done. You can see they didn't touch this side as much, thankfully, because there's less stuff to undo. But if you guys want to see some cool old school building stuff, we're gonna climb up this ladder. And it's a little bit dark, so bear with me. So we've got this ladder. All right, looks like a roof access ladder. Oddly sturdy. Then we got this gate. And it is freaking hot up here. Now we're into where you guys can take a look at like how things were built. I don't know what age this building is. I mean, look at like the old school, like solid iron hangers that they used back then. See, we'll get a little bit of light there with my phone, but it's cool to look back at how these old buildings were built. Got a little look out to the roof there. It's always good. I like to keep my pre-mixed fuel on the roof next door. You know, this building was built back when men were men here. Probably a lot of this stuff was hand cut. I mean, look at how they cut all their miters and stuff, all the beam work. You know, we got true 2x4s in here, not this 1.5 inch stuff that we use now. And then for whatever reason, this type of brickwork or block work, I believe that you call it brick. This is all over San Diego and all the super old buildings. They were all built out of this style of brick. Like that was the big thing back then. And then we got the standard bricks down below. We got a bathroom, I'm assuming. It was a bathroom at one point. There's a flange right there for a toilet. I can imagine there might be a little asbestos or something up in this building. They drywalled a lot of it. A lot of it was left out. And so actually the drywall's probably all pretty new up here and kind of hacked in. Looking good right here. I like this. It's a nice touch. So I don't really know what this space was. They got another room over here. That's kind of cool, and then we got a ladder to the roof. Whew. It's a lot cooler up here. So they got a brand new AC unit up here, and whoever did the AC HVAC work was hired by the owners of the building, and none of it works. However, they got a pretty nice roof hatch. This thing looks brand new. Now Madison, the first restaurant that me and Dave ever built together, is right there. You can see kind of that green awning back there. That's the first restaurant we ever built. So this one's about 2 to 3 doors down from there. Look at this unit right here. What is this old thing? Or is that like an AC or a refrigeration vent? I don't know what that is. If any of you guys know what that is, let me know. It's running, only one fan's running. That's a liquor store right there, so I wonder if that's refrigeration. And we're back to the freaking sauna in here. There is so much stuff that has to get undone. Like literally everything that was done by the owners has to get undone. I mean, they installed all these windows. Look at that, some
stucco work done on the outside here that makes the guys that screwed up on the last restaurant look good. Oh, hold on. All right, we're in. Basically, this place has to get completely re-demoed down to the studs before we jump in and do anything. And they gotta alleviate a lot of their code violations that they have since racked up before we can come in and make the place cool, because we want no responsibility for any of that. It's a lot of work in this one, guys. But it's not why we're here today. The reason we're here today is because, if you guys remember at the last restaurant build, we talked about the art piece. This is going to be the art piece here. Dave has since found a, what do we call them, the chemicals?
Shell shock?
Shell shock. After some experimenting, we found the right stuff here to coat this, give it a nice solid hard exterior texture. You can't dent it, you can't dig your finger in it, and it'll take paint and look really cool. So the next step here was getting the shape. Dave went ahead and drew this up in the computer and then had the shape printed out. So you guys can see we got the racetrack design going on here. That's gonna be your overall dimension by the time we wrap it in the pipe insulation, and then the inner track right there. That torch seems sketchier than mine. Hit the igniter, dog. Ignite it.
I think you might need a
lighter?
yeah.
So Dave's original plan was just use a ton of fittings, which you guys can see. I mean, there's just fitting. I mean, look at all the fittings right here to make that radius. Like, that's gonna be no fun to go in and glue up. So what I think we're gonna do, what we're gonna try, is, you guys know, you can bend PVC, you can bend conduit. We don't know if that works with ABS. We're gonna find out right now, though. We've got the torch here. We're gonna heat it up and see if we can just bend the ABS, and then that way we don't have to worry about 400 coupling per snake that we're building here. There's gonna be 4 snakes total. 2 this size and then 2 a little bit bigger, which is those lines that you see right there. Now that Dave's got his super sweet template, it should make it easier, assuming ABS will bend in the same way that, that PVC does. Hey! Yeah, more power. Oh, you're hot air balloon? I think the best thing we could do for this building would be burn it down right now.
But I don't want to do that.
Okay, I'll heat it up. You got the gloves.
Now, if this doesn't work on ABS, we can switch over to conduit, and we know for a fact that that bends the proper way.
We don't know that for a fact. The reason
I know it for a fact. I don't know, Dave. It's starting to cook.
Yeah, right?
We don't want it to cook. I don't know. Try it.
See if it'll bend. It should be a lot softer than that. I don't think this is meant to bend like the conduit does. Conduit's not bubbly like that's bubbly.
Okay, guys. Well, the bend in the ABS was a flop there. You can see, well, she flattened out real tight like. Now, since the ABS was a major fail, I'm gonna go pick up a stick of conduit here and see if we can get that to bend better. So we're gonna take the work Bronco here. We'll see. It's gonna be a tight squeeze there to get a 10-foot stick in here, but I think we can pull this off. I cannot stand high volume Home Depot stores. And unfortunately, the closest one to the restaurant is one of the highest volume Home Depots.
Oh, we got Dave's brother here.
Let's make our way over here to the electrical department. I also don't like Home Depots that I don't frequent very often because I'm always lost looking for stuff. My Home Depot, I can tell you where everything is way better than the employees. This Home Depot, not so much. All right, we have found the aisle with the conduit. We need some 1.5 inch. Just one stick here for a little test. Jeez, this stuff's gotten expensive, $25. Now it should take 4 sticks per snake, so 16 sticks give or take, or maybe 5 sticks per.
Customer needs assistance.
So apparently none of the barcodes work on this conduit. Nobody can figure out what to do. One lady told another lady she needed to handle it. That lady talked to another guy. He's like, oh, that's electrical. I don't handle that. We're literally bringing stuff up. He's a cashier. And then he's like, you gotta go talk to electrical. So she's walking all the way back to the electrical department to see what to do about this. When I just like tapped the screen 3 times and I found exactly what I needed. 1.5 inch conduit. Look at that. How do we bring that up? We got one of those. Does that work? One.
Oh.
Yeah, I have no clue what happened to that chick. She went and disappeared in the electrical aisle. Luckily, figured that out on my own here. Now, I hate to say this, if any of you work at Home Depot and you're good at your job, this ain't directed at you. But man, are there some useless employees at the Home Depot. You gotta learn the store yourself. And if you're smart and you're savvy, you can figure out all the codes to everything that's locked at the store. You figure out how to use all the stuff to cut your own material if you, you know, need some chain cut or any of that. And once you figure out one code, you can usually figure out all the store's codes. But I've become pretty self-sufficient here at the Home Depot. Just barely here in the old Bronco. Now, those of you that have stuck around this far and are not pissed that I'm showing the work side of things before we get to the play side of things and show you the suspension of the Bronco, I appreciate you. Won't be much longer here. We just gotta do a quick test on this thing and then we're heading to the warehouse and I'll show you guys the Bronco suspension setup. All right, Dave, we were ready for round 2. I also found your brother at Home Depot, fellow contractor, shirtless.
Really?
Longer hair than yours though, you know. I feel like you should grow it out, just like that beard.
You know, dog, whenever I see like a homeless dude, I'm like, that's what I look like, man. You know, like super tan and super skinny. Kind of muscly, like a wild animal. You know?
Yeah. I don't want to say nothing, but apparently Dave's been dancing while we're gone. The music's bumping in here. Let's try round 2. Now, I'm well aware that they make blankets and devices to heat conduit that electricians use. This is also cheaper.
I'm also not 100% that it's gonna work.
I feel like this is already bending easier.
You want to spin it or what?
No, let's just go. Let's just go, dog. Okay, let's just go. There we go. There we go. All right.
Come to me, come to me.
Coming to you.
Right there, right there, right there.
Keep it tight, keep it tight. All right. That's looking pretty promising there, man.
I like it, dude. I like it. And then we just hang out for a minute.
Yeah, you want to like ponder life and stuff? Yeah, like I feel like worst case if you wanted to heat that up a little bit and try and get it to hold, but I think we're all right. Okay guys, well, it looks like this is gonna be a much simpler method here. My work here is done simplifying Dave's life. We're high-fiving because I just simplified your life.
Why aren't we touching?
Why aren't we touching? Because I was way over there. All right, there we go. There we go, all right. Now that our work here is done, to the warehouse we go. Okay, now I gotta do my best to not show you guys that way in the shop because we are making some progress on the 450, but you guys are gonna have to wait for that video. However, we do have the suspension for the Bronco right here in the back in a box that has seen much better days. I'm surprised it even made it here in this shape. This box did not hold up well in shipping. Don't open, don't open. In this box here, we have the Baja Kits Prerunner setup that is going to be going on the Bronco. I ordered this kit back in December. It showed up, I believe, May. January, February, March, April, May. It took 5 months. 5 months. Now I knew going into this was a pre-order and there'd be a wait time. So 5 months on a brand new vehicle, not the end of the world. We'll get into what the issues are in a little bit here, but let's get this thing cracked open. Granted, I've already opened it, but for you guys. And one of the axles kind of slid out of the box there. So we have an axle. I almost don't want to open this box because this is the only way it survived. The pièce de résistance. We've got our upper control arms. Now, the way this was packaged, there was definitely metal on metal rubbing, which really kind of irks me a little bit. I don't know what these are. I'm assuming for the steering or something. So we've got our billet upper control arms, which are pretty dang light. Upper control arm 1. We've got brake lines, brake line extensions, upper control arm 2. And then we go down to the layers here. We've got our lower arms, which these things are freaking rad. I love anytime lower arms get chained out from the kind of dinky factory lower arms that most vehicles come with. This setup is freaking beefy. You guys can see, look at all the welds in there. Everything looking absolutely killer. And then underneath this layer, we've got, surprise, another lower control arm and the other axle here. Now the Baja Kits Prerunner kit, it's not long travel, I consider it more mid travel. And that was kind of the direction I want to go with this build. I've always had big monster lifted trucks, but I've never had anything that was like built for off-road performance, albeit my Denali does pretty well off-road. But I'm not gonna sit there and beat on it, take it through the whoops or anything like that. And I don't know if we're gonna be able to do that with this. I hope we can, that's kind of the plan. So instead of going full long travel, because really there was no options at the time, I ordered the Prerunner kit, which they're claiming gives you just over 11 inches of travel, which is decent. And then we're gonna gain 3 inches of track width per side. So the front end's gonna end up being 6 inches wider. You take that plus the wheels and whatever offset we end up running, this thing's gonna end up being pretty freaking wide. So we're gonna have to make some changes for that. It is also a 3 to 4 inch lift. So this thing will also sit 3 to 4 inches taller, which is perfect because that'll accommodate the larger tire size that I plan on running, which we're gonna try to get some 37s on here. And on here well to where like there's no rubbing, there's nothing weird that happens and you can fully use this thing with 37s on it. Now on the lower arms here, we've got 1 inch high angle, they claim trophy truck grade uniballs. And let's just take a second to compare this big old monster here to the factory little booger right there. It's gonna be a heck of an upgrade, that's for sure. Now the plan for the Bronco is a lot of stuff's gonna end up powder coated, anodized purple. Powder coated close to what an anodized color would be. It's not quite gonna be the old purple flake we got on the forklift here, but it'll be something a little bit lighter. Here's where I want some of your guys' opinions. Should I do the complete lower arm and the complete upper arms in the anodized purple? Should we do less little accents in it? I want enough of it to where you can kind of see that like we're going for that look. But obviously we don't want to make it too gaudy and there's just like purple freaking everywhere and it looks like Barney threw up all over the thing. So let me know what you guys think. Well, how much of this stuff should I powder coat purple and how much should I not? Now you're probably looking at this setup, much like I did when this little box showed up that I've spent a ton of money on. And you're like, that's it? We are missing one very important piece of this kit, and that is our King shocks. Now, this is not to the fault of Baja Kits or Brenthal. However, when I ordered this kit, you would assume in pre-ordering, you know, you would get sent everything once it's ready. Well, I got sent all of this, and now it's been, let's see, May, June, July, August. We're 3 more months, and I have no King shocks. Now, I reached out to Baja Kits, and I'm like, hey, what's up? Like, I got all this other stuff, but I didn't get my Kings. And they're like, oh, yeah. You know, King's been sending us a set or two here and there. You're on the list. So I'm like, great, okay, well, I got this super sweet Prerunner kit that I can do nothing with because I don't have my King shocks. And when I pre-ordered this kit, I'm like, man, I wonder what they're doing for the rear. Because on their website, there was not a whole lot of info on this setup. It's basically, we got a +3 Prerunner kit for the Bronco. You wanna order it? You wanna spend 8 grand? Yes, I do, cool, great. Place your order here. But it never said anything about the rear. So I was always kind of curious, you know, what happens to the rear end? Because obviously if we're lifting the front 3 to 4 inches, like, you know, what do you guys have in mind for the rear? And it was never on the website. There was never an option. So I assumed it was something included in this kit. Well, apparently I didn't do my due diligence because there is nothing in this kit for the rear. However, they do now have a ton of options for the rear. If you want to spend another 7 to 8 grand, you can get all kinds of stuff for the rear, which I'm not saying I would have done that right off the bat, but it would have been nice to know that this didn't include anything for the rear, because again, the website never stated that, and we could have ordered everything at once. Because now I'm in the conundrum of, why do I want to spend another 7, 8 grand to do the rear, knowing that like maybe those parts will show up in 3 to 4 months, but I'll have no shocks still. Do I want to just keep staring at a bunch of really expensive pieces in a box that I can't use yet? I don't know. Now, knowing that I was gonna be filming this video today and Baja Kits was fresh on my mind, I shot them another email today being like, hey, any update on my King shocks? And they promptly emailed me back and they're like, man, we just got a couple of sets in today. We were just about to email you to let you know yours was on the way. Now, I'm not gonna say a coincidence like that couldn't happen, but I have a feeling if I didn't send that email today, I probably wouldn't be allegedly getting my shocks in the next day or so. I've been a little annoyed here, and again, I don't think it's Baja Kits' fault. It's King who's been back ordered forever. I've heard it all across the industry on King shocks. I don't know if Fox's are any better. This is my first time ever ordering Kings, so I don't know, maybe Fox's lead time is better. I have no idea, but we're kind of committed at this point. So good news is, albeit I'm still very annoyed it's taking this long, my King shocks, I have a tracking number as of this afternoon, which probably means they're actually gonna go out tomorrow, which means in the next day or so I should have my King shocks here, which we also then have to pull apart to powder coat those because I want my King shocks to not be that light blue. So while I wish the full kit was here so we can install it, and again, I still don't know what we're gonna do in the rear. Maybe we just do like a 3-inch lift in the rear just to kind of compensate for now so we can fit the wheels and tires that I don't even have yet, but shout out to the homies over at Custom Offsets. They're working on sourcing the setup that I wanna run, which, you know, we always rep the homies over at Custom Offsets. So we're kind of in a little bit of a state of limbo until our shocks show up. Well, I had wrapped up this video, but I cannot leave you guys hanging. This is obviously the next day here, but the King shocks have shown up, so let's get this box opened up so we don't... Oh, geez. No. At least the King shocks box isn't all beat up and soft.
Probably one of the more expensive pieces to the kit here. Oof, these things are big. Those clamps. These are freaking massive. Look at these boogers. What we got here? Super sweet bracket. Don't know what that does or where that goes. I'm gonna lift this thing up. Hey Chris, I'm down a hand. Gotta hold the GoPro.
Let me show you something.
What?
Let me show you.
No, show me the shock. Just show me the shock.
You can see it.
You gotta lift it out, man. There might be like a reservoir attached to it. Well, maybe not. Oh, yep. I see it down there. See how strong you are, man. Where the heck's it go? They both gotta come out at the same time? Here, try this one. Well, that one wraps that way.
So we're not even smart enough to pull these out of the box. We definitely can't install these.
All right, guys. So these are the King shocks. Yep. Great work, Chris. Great work.
They look good.
They look good.
They look good.
What kind of shocks are they?
These are the King 2.5 with the reservoirs. About 20 inches of travel.
It's like closer to 11.
So here's my dilemma.
What's the dilemma?
I want these things purple. If any of you guys know somebody I can trust to pull these things completely apart, what?
I tell you a place.
Okay. Chris told me a place. Can you drop them off for me?
No, you.
Oh.
I work.
You work?
I have a 9 to 5.
Why?
You have a 5 to 9.
I got a 12 to 12. Never stop working. So, here we go, guys. Shocks are here. We pretty much got everything to do the front end. I don't know what the heck we're gonna do in the rear. So with that, we're gonna wrap up. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not subscribed already, please click the subscribe button now that you do not miss out on any future content. And don't forget to give this video a like, aka a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out workforapparel.com because if there's anything you want in this life, you gotta be willing to work for it. You guys are the best. I'm out.
Roll the outro.
Really?
I forgot.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah.